it's Marcia from Then and There. I'm back finally with another video. I know it's been a while. Hopefully I'm getting back into the swing of things, getting things made and posted and stuff like that. It's been a little while, so hopefully things are getting back to normal. I wanted to share this book with you, of course. This was a vintage book that I, of course, took all the pages out, put new pages in. This was originally printed in the 1930s and then reprinted in 1964 or 5. I don't remember right offhand exactly. And this is the 1960s edition. Unfortunately, the book had some tape and stickers and stuff on it from both the library and the thrift store that I got it from that were difficult to get off, and they left marks and residue and stuff like that that messed up the pretty cover, but I still think it's pretty. I really liked the image of the girl on the cameo and the simple title with nothing else to it. So what I did to cover up some of the unwanted markings was to go in with some red acrylic paint and just kind of dry brush it on, give it a very aged, worn look, and I think it turned out really great. The reds matched perfectly. Can't say too much more about it. And then I did, after I painted it, I sealed it, so it sealed this on so it doesn't fade, as well as seals the paint that I put on. I was going to tell you the size of the book. I believe it's 6 by about 9.5. It's a little bit bigger than most books this way that I do. So, no, it can't be 9.5. Maybe it's closer to like 9. Maybe it's 6 by 9? I don't know. It's, for some reason, I had in my head that it was bigger than that. But anyways, I sewed the signatures to the spine, which was also very pretty. I didn't necessarily want to cover it up, but at the same time, I really loved these ribbons and laces that matched the book and added all these charms and beads and things to it. And they're just tied on. They can be removed or what have you. The actual metal charms and the beads, they are on this lobster clasp, which is just put through the knots from the laces and ribbons. Anyways, we got eyelets in the front and back cover with blue ribbon, and I tried to save some of the pictures from the book and I reincorporated them into the book that I made. This book, I had a very strong, like, schoolgirl vibe from it, and I tried to go along with that, like an old-fashioned young schoolgirls journal. So yeah, we'll see what you think if I accomplish that. The inside covers are the original. This was on the front cover, the front page here, the library pocket. So I gently removed that and was able to reuse it and put just some lace and a little button here on a pin and a tag. I don't know what else to tell you, but I really loved the imagery of this book. This did have some stuff on there that I wanted to cover up because it had some stuff stuck on it, and of course it wasn't as pretty. I'll just go and show you the back. It just has this little journal spot here tucked in with the little tab to pull it out with. And of course this is just a tag. And big sewn pocket here. This is one of the images from the book, and it's just the girl in the book. I actually started reading it. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but that's because I'm a slow reader. But I had to read the book. And it's about a schoolgirl. She's about 10 years old, and she goes all over town on her roller skates. And she has a new journal from her mother that's a red leather, I'm getting tongue-tied, red leather journal. And of course this is talking about her writing in her journal for the first time. This is also a little tuck spot on this vintage children's playing card, the Silly Goose. This is just a vintage image that can be used as a journaling spot. All the papers in here are coffee dyed. This has some stamping on it. This is a large pocket with, oh, this is a page from an etiquette book from the 1940s or 50s. I can't remember exactly. This one has to do with meal service. And this is just an old, from a children's writing pad. And I aged it up and put it in there with some vintage trim. This is a book from a page from another book that was also a school book about a schoolgirl called Popular Girl. And it was written in, I believe, the 1930s. And I just backed it with some coffee dyed pattern paper. Tuck that in there. This is a page from a vintage book called Ideals, printed in the 1950s. Has some beautiful poems and stories as well as art. A pocket here. This is a tag from, it's from a little notebook where you can make like jar recipes and put tags on them and give them as gifts. This has a recipe for beef noodle dinner. I just thought, you know, a little girl, or a young girl, not a little girl, but a young girl would keep things that she thinks makes her more grown up, more of an adult, especially, you know, back in the day. And this is a chocolates advertisement. What little girl doesn't love chocolate? Keeps her little wrappers. Got some stamping. A page from an old shorthand book. This is just a piece of ephemera. Little booklets that I found from 1990. They're not terribly old, but I love the look of them. And the poems and stories in them are also really neat. This is a Tim Holtz cabinet card. This is from a photography book that I cut out, and I just, I gotta catch my breath. Talking too much. Too fast? I don't know. Oh my god. I ramble. Okay, this is just a page from a photography book. I thought the little puppies were so cute. Some ruffled pattern paper sewn on there. This is a page from an old book about a particular place in Florida, Central Florida history. And these are some buildings that were built in the 1980s and 90s. Which I thought was very appropriate because the girl that this book was about lived in the 1890s. Sorry, 1890s was the time period that she was living in. A little stamping here with a little quote: "Most beautiful things are not seen with the eyes but felt with the heart." This is a vintage hanky that has some beautiful embroidery on it. A little tag stamped. This is the other side of that pamphlet. It has a cute little saying here. It has an authentic coffee ring on it. It's not a stamp. It's real. A little vintage image. Another little vintage image. And this is also a little tuck spot right there. A little bit of stamping here on that shorthand book. A poem called Sugar Making Time. I'm going to make some candy. This is another page from the book. The little girl talking to a police officer, and she's wearing her roller skates. I gotta point these things out because I think they're cute, just adorable. A little envelope here. This is a page from a book. It's not terribly old, but I liked it. It has to do with grammar, and it has like exercises on each side that have to do with expounding your vocabulary. Got a little vintage image there. A little girl on her typewriter with her dog. It's a vintage image from Graphics Fairy. This is the title page from the book that I used called Roller Skates. Yeah, if I can get it back in there. A little bit of stamping here. It's just a tag that says sold on it. This is a vintage wallpaper pocket. A little more stamping. A page from that vocabulary book that has just a list of words. This is from another page from the photography book. Has to do with well, it doesn't really have to do with dogs, but it has to do with lighting and good pictures. Some stamping, some writing tablet. Found this tag. This was a cutout from some pattern paper. It says School Days. A glassine envelope here. So you got a tuck spot, an envelope, and another tuck spot. A little cheesecloth, some coffee dyed cheesecloth sewn on there. This is from an old children's book. It has poems on both sides and in the middle. So I try not to mess that up any. Gotta keep it in there, and I love the colors coordinate really well. This is just a tag with some red ribbon stuck in there. Some rickrack sewn on. Another page from that photography book. This little girl, she likes her puppy dogs. This is a poem in this large pocket here, which is just the other side of that writing tablet cover, inside cover. An envelope here just with some extra writing paper and some lace sewn on. There's some fabric, ruffle sewn on. Another one of those vintage playing cards and some more printed images that can be used as journaling spots. And I showed you that pulls out already, and there's the book, and on the back it has the publisher printed in blue on the cover. And so there's that one. I hope you enjoyed that. Of course, the link will be in the description to my Etsy store, and you can check that out. And yeah, let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Bye.